Hey, harmonica playing friends and students and new followers of YouTube, of the internet. It's Drea Van Allen, and I'm back with, I think this is lesson 13. I apologize, I didn't get one out last week. I really planned to, but I got sick. I hadn't had a cold for a very long time. It'd been about 2 years, and it really just put me out of commission. I couldn't even play harmonica on my own. Quite a bummer. I have been working 2 jobs, and one of them is very, very, very hard for very little pay. Um, and it really did a number on me. So I'm debating on whether or not I'm showing up tomorrow morning again. But that's another story. This is lesson 13, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about what I've gone over and connecting stuff that maybe you've already learned from what I've taught you. I've definitely taught it to you. Hopefully you've learned it already. I know that everyone learns at their own pace, and I'm happy for some feedback I've gotten from students that they have learned like Piano Man and stuff like that, because ear training is very important. I really want to focus more on that, and I think it's going to be the next lesson or the lesson after that, more on ear training and what I do, because I learn almost all of my songs by ear. Even if I had some harmonica tab, I don't look at it. It's just all about the ears for me, so I wanted to show you guys how that process works for me. For this lesson, I also wanted to start telling you guys more about music theory, just a little bit though, because I know not everyone's into this, so every few lessons I might throw in a couple theory type things. And for this one, I wanted to talk about the musical staff, because I showed you guys the 12-bar blues, and I showed you musical staff. So let me get, sorry, I'm in my pajamas. What I showed you. So I was showing you, based on the piano, the 12-bar blues. But this might not make sense to everyone, and it's important, I think it's important that we take ourselves seriously as musicians and learn some musical terminology and some theory. So when I showed you this last week, you might not have known what this was. Some of you did, and that's why I showed it. But this is a musical staff, just one of these 2 lines. So just, don't look down here, but just this top line right here. Just the very first one. Now, the 2 staffs together is known as a grand staff. Just these 2. This reads like, this is musical language. This is a staff. These are notes. And without staffs, the notes would be chaotic. It wouldn't make any sense. But also, what's very important that I want to tell you is you notice that there is 2 different little symbols here. Now, if it wasn't for these are called clefs. This is a treble clef, and this is called a bass clef. If it wasn't for these clefs and the staffs, you wouldn't know what notes music was to read it. Now, I'm not going to get into what these notes are. You might see my chicken scratch already, and you might know some stuff, but I don't want to get into that right away. But I just wanted to show you guys that this is called a musical staff. We're just talking about one of these rows. So remember, with the 12-bar blues, this is just 1, 2, 3 measures. I'm sorry if I'm messing up the terminology right now. Maybe I shouldn't have taught theory if I am so out of it and sick. Well, I'm getting better. I'm not sick anymore. But I'm still a little, I don't know. You know, you just can't think all the way straight. But I just wanted to get that out to you guys, that that's what those are called. Just so you know. Just basic intro to music theory 101, so we could communicate with other musicians. And yeah. So that's musical staff. Then together it's called a grand staff. We would use an entire grand staff if you did read music. I don't think very many harmonica players read music. I don't read music when I play. It's very much ear. But there are some people that do, I think. And maybe you will eventually or want to and really push this instrument to the next level and play classical music and be able to sit down with the clarinet players and the trumpets and just everyone else in an orchestra and be able to read music, sight read. That's not really my thing at all because I play just from my feeling, and yeah, it's just maybe I will eventually, like, I don't know. I don't plan on it. It's not a goal of mine even. But I think it's very important to know music. And I play the piano. I'm trying to learn again. I played as a kid, and it's a really great way to learn how to read music. And I do know how to read music very slowly because I did learn it before, and I don't know all the intricacies, like the advanced stuff, but the harmonica used to be called a pocket piano when it first came out, so I think it's important that we make that parallel. So I will be going to show you things on the piano for it to make sense theory-wise for those of you that care about that. Anyways, enough about that for now. Another note though is that the staves are defined by their clefs is what I was trying to tell you. And the notes are only identified by the use of one clef, so you don't have to have the whole thing. And clefs actually define the name of the notes on the staff. And I think I already said that, but that was a way to say it a different way. I wrote down these notes and I was like, oh wait, I forgot to read them, and I realized I already said that. So never mind. Or mind. I want to talk about, I already taught you guys a little bit how to do the 4-hole draw bend. And I had a question. I thought that I went over how to get a single notes tongue blocking, but I had a question if I go over that, so maybe that's kind of lost in the sauce with some old lessons. So I wanted to show you the 4-hole draw, how to get it tongue blocking, and just focus on the 4-hole and what you can do with the 4-hole, or the 4 and the 5 actually. Yeah, 4 and 5 is the only notes I'll be talking about today. And just a couple things. So I have this Flisco tongue block trainer, as I've talked about in previous lessons. I do encourage you to go back and see what I'd say because I'm just going to skim over this. The bending, that is only a few lessons away or back, so I think just go ahead and go back to that. But I wanted to show you how to tongue block and get a single note. So I do lip pursing and tongue blocking. So it's important to learn both ways eventually, I think. If you're going to learn one first, I'd say learn lip pursing. I do start out mostly with lip pursing because that's the way I started. But you guys know how to get a pucker. You should know how to get a pucker from my previous lessons. But I want to show you tongue blocks. So the theory is that you're going over these 4 holes, the first 4 holes, and you're using your tongue to cover the first 3 holes in order to get the one note. And that's the basis of tongue blocking, just to get a single note. And then when you go to the 5, your mouth would become accustomed to blocking out the 1, and you'd just be blocking that with the 5. But there's so many things that go into tongue blocking, I don't want to get too crazy. But I did want to show you it again on the tongue block trainer. So my mouth's open. And then I'm just covering the first 3 holes. And you see I just have this like side thing open, the side part of my mouth. And that's the only way that I'm getting the note. And you see my mouth looks different. I do it. That's pucker. And this tongue block. So you can kind of tell that way. And I think you do get a much better tone this way. I'm really becoming a fan of tongue blocking, and I'm actually starting to tongue block. When I think in my head lip person, I went to tongue block, and I was like, whoa, I did that. So that's kind of cool that my mind's thinking differently now. And I'll get you there too if you want to be there. So that's all that's happening is this is really not a glamorous thing to do, right? And I also wanted to just mention that you can tongue block bend as well. I bend tongue blocked as well. All the bends except for the 10-hole blow. I could do it on the low harmonicas, but not all the high harmonicas to blow bend. And mostly out of fear of breaking my harmonica, busting a reed at this point, because I have been broke. But I will do a tongue block bending example. And you're not going to be able to really see what's going on, but I am going to. This is a blow bend, or lip pursing 4-hole draw bend. And I'm going to do a tongue block. I actually have a tendency to overbend when I do the tongue block for whatever reason. But this is me tongue block bending, if this even does anything for you. So it's like the back of your tongue is moving. It's really weird. You probably just heard me going all weird instead of actually seeing anything. I'll go more into that again when I go over more bends. I am going to go over the 6-hole draw bends next. And I would love it if you guys went and got, if you don't already have it, a D harmonica and a G harmonica. Because I want to teach you some entire songs that that are pretty simple, but some of the first songs I learned and I still do them, I still cover them, and I think it'd be fun to learn a fun song that I think's fun and I still play all the time because it's fun. So I just showed you that, and I wanted to show you something you could do. There's something called a triplet. Now, there's many different types of triplets, but this is something you do just on the 4-hole. So I'm going to start with a 4-hole draw natural. Then I'm going to go to the 4-hole draw bend, the 4 blow. 3 notes. And it's going to be a triplet, so it's like da-da-da, you'll see. So I'm going to start slow. So that's 4 draw bend, and then 4 blow. And then you just get a triplet like, but you're going to start slow. Draw, bend, blow. Just over and over and over and over until you have a cool triplet, a cool little thing you could do and throw in your music that people like to hear. Now that was all lip pursed, and here is tongue blocked. I'll just do it lip pursed again. So if I were you, I would just work on doing it slowly. Don't try to get fast. Just and eventually you'll be able to throw it in there. Yeah, to your improvising mix, which we will talk much more about. I was very tempted to do another improvising video, but I'll just show you some something a little bit different, and then we could talk about it, and I won't just be like, oh yeah, you could do that because of the blah, but maybe it'll make some sense next time, and I'll just be like, yeah, now you're gonna do that 4-hole draw bend to the blow triplet. That's what that was. And before, if I just said that, it might not make sense to you. And I also said that, and this is just things I'm kind of trying to show you that what doors have been opened to you and technique-wise, and things you can do now that I taught you how to draw bend on the 4-hole blot. I am so out of it. I'm sorry. 4-hole draw bend. So yes, I am Andrea and I make mistakes a lot. There we go. that's what this video is about, really, for me. Um, and so that was a triplet. And also, I think I explained to you guys that the 5-hole draw does not, you could do a quarter note bend, but it's not actually a notated bend in music. And that's just the way it is in music. It's music law. It is in like, I think like some Asian music and, but just not in Western music, like European, American. That's what I mean by Western, not like country Western. But you could also do some really cool things with the little inflection on the 5-hole draw. Like I showed you guys the train whistle, and that is just the 4 and 5 draw. That was like one of the first or second lessons. But now you can start 4 or 5-hole draw, 4 or 5 draw, and then go to bend. So your training whistle is going to get a lot cooler, and you could do some really cool bluesy stuff. That was with a vibrato on it. The 4-5 draw bend vibrato. And I don't know, it's just, it gives, it's like screaming. It's so blues. Sometimes if you like don't know, it's just so expressive. It's so expressive. You hear this all over the place, and if I'm like, especially for songs, blues songs, I'm very, very like passionate about what I'm saying, like a song of my own especially, and I just want to let people know that I am like screaming and I'm really emotional and I'm really pissed about this, like my song Misery. It's about having to work to pay the bills, but my soul's not free. Like all my songs really relate to what is going on in my life or what has gone on. And this, so lately, because that is my situation, that I'm working and not having time to do music like I want. And I don't need to go into my story. You guys have heard a lot of it. But lately when I do that song, when I start my solo for that, I'm like I'm just like, it's just letting me scream like, oh my God, I'm so angry. I just got off work 12 hours. Save me. My soul is screaming. That's what oh God. Oh my gosh. I am a crazy person. Thank you for the new subscribers. You subscribe to the crazy harmonica channel. Woohoo! I also do them in my pajamas when I'm sick and out of it. Also, you can do, I showed you guys how to warble. So you can warble, go just the natural warble, 4 to 5, and it's just back and forth, 4 to 5, remember? Just like you'd be doing part of a scale, but you're doing it fast. You know, I already started trying to do the bend, but you can start natural, go to the bend, and then you can even go to the blow, and this is just all just 2 holes. So exciting. So I'm going to go 4-5 warble, then to the 4-5 warble with a bend on it, and then to the blow warble. And just show you guys what that sounds like. I'll do it slow first. Sounds really weird slow. So now I'll go fast. So that was normal, then with the bend, and then blow. And sounds so awesome, I think. And that was kind of like a triplets warble bend. And you see, you just combine all these things. Combine it all. Don't just be like, oh, well, I learned how to do this one technique, so I'm going to do this. Don't forget what I taught you in the beginning. And I've taught you in a specific way because you could take such simple concepts and make the best blues music. You don't have to know all these techniques. You don't. The blues is about an emotion. It's an emotion. And that's what it really takes. It's not about how many scales you could do and that, oh, I could do this and I know what note it is, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's about play that note. I don't care if you don't know what note that is. Play that note. Play the heck out of it. Play it with your soul and your guts. Scream that note. The note. Own the notes. You only have to play one note. 2 notes. And if you have the emotion behind that, you can make people, you can move people, you can make people cry, you could really express yourself. And that's what music is about, at least for me, is an escape. It's a way to express yourself. It is a way to be me. It's a way for me to talk in ways that I want to talk, but I can't talk with words. I'm getting really deep and philosophical, and like I'm about to even start shedding a tear because this is how much it means to me, and maybe I'm a little too tired. And yes, I'm an emotional person. Emotions are good. And now I'm probably going to lose a lot of subscribers, but I also really do believe that people ask me sometimes how I've had people take lessons from me that have been playing longer than I've been alive, and what do they want to know? How do I play with that? How do you get that emotion? How do you do that? And I'm like, it's my life. This is me. It's my soul screaming. Like, think of something that you just are just. All right, you could tell I'm very passionate about music. Music is what I have decided to do with my life, and it hasn't worked out yet. Still homeless or living, I shouldn't say homeless. Was living with my dad and stepmom in the garage on the floor, and they really don't like me being here, and yeah. And I can't seem to get any gigs. This is the first time in my life I can't get any gigs. The better I get, the worse my opportunities are. And so, yeah, now I'm having to work 2 really bad jobs. One of them's kind of cool, but they're both just, you have to work a lot to make any money. And just when you're playing, I don't know why I just went into that. When you're playing, if you're not an emotional person, I'm sure that you've had something that's made you emotional sometime in your life. And you haven't, maybe you've watched a movie. Maybe you should start meditating and stuff and really get in tune with yourself, because it's a good thing to be sensitive. And if you're a sensitive person, it makes you a better musician. And everyone has this, but it's this whole stigma with our society that especially men, that you're not allowed to be sensitive. It's a part of all of us, and own it, men and ladies. And especially men, that I'm talking to you, just because you don't need to be macho. You don't. I hope that whenever I get to go out with someone, I've been single for a very long time and haven't even been on a date for a long time. And I hope that whoever I end up going out with someday cries, and they're emotional, and they don't hide it. And if you do hide it, and this is going to be a good stepping stone for you to cry through your instrument, make it cry. And that's what that's all things I've taught you guys. Just connect it. Anyways, I'm going to sign off. I don't want to get any more complaints about my harmonica lessons being too long. If they're too long, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this one. But yeah, you guys got to see a little bit of my personality. I'm kind of a weird lady. I think a lot of harmonica players are weird. But I love this music, and I love I love doing these lessons for you guys, even if I'm not like seeing you face to face. And I hope that one day this could be my full-time work. And thank you so much for all the new subscribers. You really keep me going. And yeah, sorry about the disheveledness of this lesson, pajamas, and the casualness of this, but it's also about keeping it real. And that is also a big part of being a good musician. I don't even know if you guys think I'm a good musician, but maybe you think something since you're watching me. But keeping it real is having emotion. Life's not all peaches and butterflies. It is all about your perspective, but everybody hurts sometimes, as that one song, I think by Aerosmith goes. Keep it real. Let your emotions show through this. And you'll have an audience member one day say that you made them cry, and don't get taken aback by that. That's like a huge compliment. That means that you portrayed something. And also there's a balance. You should be happy sometimes too. And you have happy songs and sad songs. And yeah, I'm going to start talking now. Thank you again. And I have so much planned for you guys. I have like a whole plan. Go get a D harmonica first. I'm going to teach you a cool song that I like. And I'm going to teach you about the 6-hole draw bend so you can play that song better and do it all the way through. But I love you guys. Thank you so much.